All right, for more on this, let's bring in former federal prosecutor Jonathan Fahey. Jonathan, great to have you with us today. We both watched CB Cotton's report, and she said that Judge Juan Merchan wants to sentence President-elect Trump to an unconditional discharge out of respect for the presidential immunity doctrine, and that means no prison time, no jail time, anything like that. But, you know, to many looking at this, it does seem vindictive. Can you explain to us what this means?
Yeah, it does seem like vindictive, and this case really is lawfare at its worst, and more so on the Alvin Bragg end of it. But basically what he's doing is saying the conviction will stand, but there won't be any punishment at all. So again, that sort of begs the question, why not just dismiss the case and let us move on? And if you look at the immunity decision, and the immunity decision basically from the Supreme Court said Donald Trump had immunity the entire time. It wasn't that they just created immunity for him in that decision. And the whole purpose was so that Donald Trump or any president could do their job without the fear of state officials or other officials interfering with it. And we're at a unique phase, this transition phase, which although he's not the president now, this is a critically important phase where he's putting together his administration that's set to take effect on January 20th. The last thing he needs is to be distracted and disrupted by this sentencing, which again isn't going to lead to anything. But another point that Judge Merchan, it seems to be missing out on is this doesn't end the case, because Donald Trump can appeal this case, and he certainly will, and he has multiple avenues for a successful appeal, most notably the presidential immunity decision. So this case will continue on during his term, which again, it doesn't make any sense. There's no societal interest in this case going forward. And really at this point, the only people that seem to really defend this case are Judge Merchan and Alvin Bragg. Nobody else, even the most hardened Democrats, know this case was lawfare, and everyone is somewhat embarrassed by this case. And it really would make Judge Merchan and Alvin Bragg in particular would really restore some credibility to the justice system by just letting this case go and be dismissed outright.
Yeah, to your point, what interest does it serve? Judge Juan Merchan says he wants to honor the jury's decision here. Trump is on social media calling this whole case a charade that should have been dead on arrival. I guess, legal scholars will debate this for some time to come. But in the meantime, now the Trump team is going to have to try to stop this sentencing. Is there any chance that they can do that? They can stop this January 10th sentencing?
I think there's a chance they could appeal his ruling to a higher court, or maybe even try to take it to federal court again and make the presidential immunity argument as it relates to the transition. So I think there's a chance, and it really makes sense for this case just to go away. And just the other thing is, if Donald Trump wins on immunity, this case could be back in front of Judge Merchan during Donald Trump's term. So again, this thing never really goes away unless it's dismissed. I think a higher court should get involved and say the greater societal good is, getting rid of this case. Certainly Alvin Bragg has more than enough to do in New York with people getting pushed in front of subways and other things like that, that this shouldn't be high on his priority list, and it should have never been on his priority list. But yeah, there is a chance. I think they will do that. If not, there'll be the sentencing next week, where Judge Merchan will probably make some sort of speech, again, trying to justify this case as its legitimacy, and then Donald Trump could go on to appeal. But it really is not worth the distraction. We just had a terrorist attack. We have all of these things. He needs to put his administration together, and this is a needless distraction, not only for him, but everyone in the country, when there's far more important things going on.
Yeah, just a quick answer here. Judge Merchan has said if the Trump team is able to stop this sentencing, then he will pursue this after Trump leaves office, actually seek to sentence Trump after he leaves office. He would be 82 years old. Just a quick answer. What is the point of that at that point?
There is no point other than justifying this case, because it doesn't serve any legitimate interest. The point they're making, it's always contradicted by what's actually going on. They're trying to say this sort of restores or maintains integrity of the justice system, but this case, more than any of the lawfare cases, has harmed the justice system, not just in New York, but nationwide.
Yeah, well, we will see what happens on January 10th. We will all be watching that. Thank you so much for your legal insight today, Jonathan Fahey.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.